All right, welcome back to the Journeys of Healing podcast with your host, Bree Cook. Today, I'm going to talk about something that happened to me about 3 weeks ago. It wasn't fun, it really sucked, but I'm going to tell you about it anyway. I live about a half an hour away from work, so I have a commute every morning. I really don't mind the commute. Everyone that I talk to is like, that's such a long drive. I can't believe you drive that far. I really enjoy my drive for a couple different reasons. One, I get to listen to whatever music I want for that half an hour. I can listen to a podcast. I can listen to a book. I can just really mentally prepare myself for my day, and I really enjoy that part about my drive. Number two, I had an awesome car. I had bought a 2015 Chrysler 200. I don't know what I loved so much about that car, but I just loved it. I was driving to work one day. I was really flustered. I had a lot on my mind. I had woken up late, so I took everything with me to get ready, like my makeup and just stuff I needed for that day. The thing about my car, since it was new, had a seatbelt alarm that would go off when you didn't put your seatbelt on. It would not stop beeping until you put your seatbelt on, and it would beep like every 5 seconds, so you just might as well put it on. It became a habit for me to put my seatbelt on. So I'm driving to work, I'm late, I'm really flustered, and I remember thinking to myself, Bree, calm down, you're driving like crap, you just need to put some music on, you need to relax, you're just flustered, you need to just fix yourself for a second. I didn't really listen to my intuition, I didn't really listen to what I was telling myself. I'm driving along the freeway, I have my cruise control set at 85 miles an hour. I have my visor down because I'm putting mascara on my way to work. I know that a lot of girls do their makeup while they're driving. I've seen it. I've seen my friends do it. I've seen just the same as texting and driving. Either way, I'm here fully admitting that I was putting mascara on while I was driving to work. Well, out of nowhere, I don't know how long it had been since I looked at the road. There is a semi-truck right in front of me. I just looked down from my visor, saw the semi-truck. I'm going 85 miles an hour. And I thought to myself, crap. I slam on my brakes. This is all slow motion. You've ever been in a wreck? It's so slow motion. It's crazy. So I rip my steering wheel to the left, and the corner passenger side of the frame of my car hits the corner of this semi, which just sends my car out of control. It sends it across the road, and I hit the barrier on the left side, destroying the whole left bumper and all the way down the left side of my car. The dust settles. I'm sitting there, I'm looking around going, what the crap just happened? My insurance is gonna suck. This sucks. What am I gonna do? I start looking for my phone to call somebody, and I realize that I don't have my seatbelt on. The crazy thing to me is that my car is completely 100% totaled. The semi-truck that I hit had zero to little damage, and he wasn't hurt. I wasn't hurt. Not even one scratch. And if you saw pictures of my car, it was a miracle that nothing bad happened, that I didn't get hurt, especially without having a seatbelt on. The reason that I'm telling this story is mostly for what I realized and learned afterward. I called my best friend. She came immediately. She lived in Provo. I was on my way to work. It was probably about 20 minutes away from where I was. She drove down immediately, got out of bed, came to pick me up, just asked me, what do you need? I can take you to work. I can do whatever you need me to do. My brother came. I had an uncle come and pick it up with his tow truck. My mom called me, made sure everything was okay. My boss called and said, you know what? Don't come into work. Take the day. I took care of your appointments. And I'm just a flustered mess. I'm thinking, great, now my insurance is going to go up. I'm going to have to buy a new car. I have no car to get around. This sucks. I was a complete mess. I was bawling. I was shaking. I was so upset. And I get home and my brother says to me, Bree, 55. And I just look at him so dumbfounded and go, oh my gosh, you know what? You are right. 55 is something that means a lot to me. I ended up just thinking about this a few years ago. I got it as my very first tattoo. I got a white ink 55 tattoo on my wrist, and the 55 stands for a couple different things. Pretty much in any scenario, I myself am not allowed to get sad, mad, angry, annoyed, any type of emotion for longer than 5 minutes if the issue or whatever it is not going to matter in 5 years. Whatever the thing is that just happened to me isn't going to matter 5 years from now. It doesn't deserve more than 5 minutes of my energy and my time. And yes, it can be something like a car accident. Yeah, it was a big deal. Yeah, it happened. I cannot go back and just change what happened. So I can sit here and stress and worry about it, or I can just breathe and let it go. That's what I did. It has been about 3 to 4 weeks since this accident happened. I've learned a couple different things that I wanted to share. One was I have been humbled because I've realized it doesn't matter what kind of car you drive. It was really hard for me to take a step down. I was driving a 2015 Chrysler 200 with all the bells and whistles to driving the car that my sister let me borrow. I think it's a 2005 Chevy Cavalier, but it has no bells and whistles, and it has a lot of those quirks that the older cars do that I was extremely frustrated with at first. I was so used to having this nice car, and I was complaining about the car that I was driving, and a friend said to me, "Hey, at least it's a car." And I went, "You know what? You are absolutely right." So I had to learn the lesson on being humbled that I have a car to drive. It's okay. You could be stuck without a car at all. How would you like that? Probably not very much. And I'm sure there's people out there who don't have a car to drive and would kill to have the car that I'm driving right now. Number 2 was kind of about image for me. I'm going to swallow my pride on that one and say, yeah, I had been driving a nice car. That was kind of part of my image, was to drive this nice car. Now all of a sudden I'm driving this piece of crap, and I'm kind of embarrassed to be seen driving this thing around. But that's not what matters. It's not what matters that people see what you're driving. It really matters what's inside and the kind of person that you are. Not a single one of my friends judged me for driving this car. Lesson number 3, do not drive and put makeup on at the same time. Don't be so much in your head. Don't be stressing about all these things when you're doing everyday things like driving. I don't think a lot of us realize how fast life can change, literally in a blink of an eye. I mean, 3 minutes before this accident, I'm thinking to myself, Bree, relax. You're driving like crap. Put on some music. And then 3 minutes later, I'm totaled on the side of the road. That could have been way worse. Number 4 is it really opened my eyes to how I treat people in my life. This has been the second scenario in the past few months that's really opened my eyes to how I treat other human beings. I had my brother call me one day and ask what time I was going to get off work. He had already called me a few times that day and asked. Everyone wasn't really listening to what I said. I'm like, I'll get off work at 6 o'clock. So when he called me and asked again, I snapped at him and I said I'll get off work at 6 o'clock. I stopped myself and thought, you know what? I don't need to talk to him like that. I pulled it back and I said, I get off work at 6 o'clock. I'm sorry. I'll call you later. I love you. Bye. I always hang up the phone saying, love you. Bye. Even if it's quick. I realize how fast life can end. And I don't want the last words that I said to someone to be something rude or awful or just an annoyed tone of voice. Ultimately, through my breakup that I explained in the last episode, through all the lessons that I have learned, and that how you treat people on a daily basis is a big deal. The people that you surround yourself with is a big deal. The place where you work is a big deal. If you don't have a supportive boss, coworkers, friendships built within the workplace that you're at all day, it's going to be wearing on you. It's going to be draining. So make sure that you're in a good work environment. Make sure you're in a good home environment. Make sure that you're in a good friend environment. You are some of the 5 people that you hang out with the most. Show me your friends and I'll show you who you are. So I've been really grateful that I have the good friends I do to be able to call when I get in an accident and they're there 20 minutes later ready to call the tow truck for me. Through the past 4 weeks of car hunting, I've really had to learn a lot of patience. I've test driven about 7 different cars. They've all been different. I'm being really picky about how much I spend, about how good the car is going to be because I do drive a lot. I cannot tell you how hard it has been for me to have patience, to just wait for the right car to come along. I know that if I put it out in the universe, they're going to send me a good car. That's just my own personal belief. I've really had to learn to be patient and wait for these good things to come because they have been. Anyway, I just really wanted to share that short little story with you and kind of tell you the lessons that I've learned through it and hopefully give you a little bit of insight on how to handle different situations in life, whether it be something that happened at work, a car accident, any small or big thing. Really analyze the situation. Think, is this going to matter 5 years from now? If the answer is yes, then by all means, handle it and do whatever you need to do to handle the situation and take care of everything that you need to take care of. If it isn't going to matter in 5 years, you only get 5 minutes. If you had a bad day at work, complain, vent, get it out. Set a timer, 5 minutes, that's all you get. And then take a deep breath, in and out, and just let it go. And go focus on something good that you want to focus on. Let the negative go and move on with the positive. It's a lot easier said than done, but I know it can be done because I look at the tattoo on my arm every day and you only get 5 minutes. And I'm grateful that I have people in my life to remind me of that. All right, on an ending note, I wanted to read one of my favorite poems. I really had to think hard about this and just let it sink in. It means a lot to me, so I'm going to go ahead and read it. I've come to the frightening conclusion that I am the decisive element. It is my personal approach that creates the climate. It is my daily mood that makes the weather. I possess tremendous power to make life miserable or joyous. I can be a tool of torture or an instrument of inspiration. I can humiliate or humor, hurt or heal. In all situations, it is my response that decides whether a crisis is escalated or de-escalated, a person is humanized or dehumanized. If we treat people as they are, we make them worse. If we treat people as they ought to be, we help them become what they are capable of becoming. So to end today, I just wanted to say thank you to everyone who listened to the last podcast. Thank you so much for your feedback. I will be putting more motivational videos and entering more on my blog page this week as well. Be sure to check that out at improvingmyjourney.com. Thanks so much for listening. Have an awesome week, you guys. It's Monday. Let's crush it. Let's make some goals. And we'll see you next week.